the thorn and the rose. In the quiet heart of a sun-drenched garden, where the air smelled of sweetness and life, there lived a proud and bold rose. Its petals were soft like velvet, and its fragrance lured bees and birds, while its beauty captured the attention of every eye that passed by. But not far from this graceful bloom, hidden away in the shadows of its towering stem, lay a small sharp thorn. The thorn, though far less noticed, had its own quiet presence. It was rough, jagged, and stuck out like a sore thumb among the delicate leaves and blossoms. Day after day it watched the rose, envied it. The rose had everything: admiration, elegance, and endless attention. The thorn, however, was ignored, its sole purpose seemingly to any passerby that dared to get too close. The thorn longed for the admiration the rose received. "Why should I be the one to cause pain?" it would mutter to itself. "Why must I always be the one to be feared, while the rose stands there basking in affection?" One bright morning, as the sun kissed the garden awake, a storm began to stir on the horizon. The air thickened, heavy with the promise of rain and wind. The rose, standing tall and proud, seemed unfazed. But the thorn, ever vigilant, sensed something far worse. It saw dark clouds looming, knew that a strong gust of wind could tear the rose's fragile petals apart. The wind began to howl, the rain starting to lash down in fierce sheets. The thorn, usually so resentful of its role, felt a deep surge of protective instinct. "I must protect it," the thorn whispered to itself, a rare tenderness creeping into its jagged edges. As the storm raged, a mighty gust of wind swept through the garden, tugging at the rose's petals. It swayed dangerously, about to be torn from its stem. But in that very moment, the thorn, though small and often forgotten, braced itself against the rose. It dug into the soft petals, holding them steady, guarding them from the chaos around them. The thorn, in its moment of purpose, realized something profound. It wasn't the rose's beauty that mattered most. It was the bond between them, the quiet and unspoken duty of protection. Without the thorn's strength, the rose would not have survived the storm. When the wind subsided and the rain slowed to a gentle drizzle, the rose stood there, bruised but unbroken, its petals still intact. It looked at the thorn, and for the first time it saw not a harsh, sharp object, but a faithful protector. "I envy you no more," the rose whispered softly, its voice barely more than a breeze. "You are my strength, my shield. I could not have survived without you." And the thorn, though still small and sharp, stood a little taller, for in that quiet moment it realized its worth. It no longer sought admiration or praise. It had found its purpose, and in doing so had become something far greater than it had ever imagined. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.